We're going to talk about houses in high price markets, low price markets, and medium price markets, and what that means to you as a rental investor. Okay guys, I've talked about this in previous videos, but let's just do a quick recap. There's a few different ways that you make money in investing in rental real estate, right? You can obviously wholesale properties, fix and flip properties, and you can fix them up and refinance them and keep them as a rental property. Those are all things that we can do when it comes to properties. So if we're gonna keep that as a rental property, number one, we can make money by cash flow. Cash flow is the difference between everything you pay, it's what you get, minus what you pay equals your cash flow, okay? And I'm talking taxes, insurance, repairs, you name it, interest, everything else like that. That's cash flow. So you can make money in cash flow. Now, starting on day one, you may not make money in cash flow. It may take a few years before you make money in cash flow. And in some areas, you may make money in cash flow right away, okay? The second way we're making money is what's called appreciation. This is the value of property going up over time, okay? So if you look here, this is the median house and what it's done over an extended period of time, okay? You can see this is only straight up. You see it go up. Even the worst of times, you see it come back up. So that's appreciation. Appreciation is the value of the property over time, okay? The next way you're gonna make money with house investing is you're gonna make money through what I call amortization. Because what happens is every month, when that payment is paid, when the person pays rent and you pay the mortgage, part of that mortgage is going to go to the principal balance. And they're paying that, your tenant's paying that, not you. So let me show you another way to look at this, which is our amortization calculator, okay? So 250,000, let's say it's 6.5 on the rate. Let's put that as a 30-year loan. And the first payment dates, yeah, let's just put December 1st. Fine, let's calculate that. Okay, so what's happening here is each payment, you'll see the first payment is $1,580. 226 of that is going towards principal pay down to make that balance of 250,000 go down a little bit. Well, the further you get, you'll see that 1,580, that same payment on a fixed rate, $1,572 is going towards principal in the last payment. This is the first payment. So the longer you have that loan, the more years you're into that loan, the more that's going towards paying down your loan, and that's being paid by the rent for the tenant, which is paying this. So you're growing amortization because your tenant's paying down your debt. The other thing we're going to talk about is some tax benefits, okay? There's different tax benefits, from business benefits to having the LLC to having some write-offs, but there's also some benefits where you're able to write off different things that may be happening with the property. So I'm not a tax expert, but there are tax benefits, and a lot of people invest just because of those tax benefits. I don't recommend doing that. I recommend investing for these other things, but knowing that that's just a cherry on top. Okay, so now let's talk about the different. Depending upon what marketplace you're in, you're going to see different amounts of cash flow, different amounts of appreciation. Amortization is going to stay pretty much the same. So let's talk about cash flow and appreciation based upon different cities and different circumstances. All right, what I want to demonstrate here in this fictitious example is the difference between lower cost homes and the rent you get and the appreciation you get versus higher cost homes and the rent you get and the appreciation you get. As a general rule of thumb, the lower the cost of the house, the more rent you're going to get. So like this 200 is getting an 8%, the 500 is getting a 5%, and the 1,000 is getting 40,000 or 4%. So why is that? Well, what you've got to realize is you have what's called diminishing returns when it comes to rent, okay? So for example, a one bedroom may rent for $1,000. A two bedroom isn't going to rent for $1,000, but it might rent for $1,500. A three bedroom is going to rent for $1,750. A four bedroom is going to rent for $2,000, okay? Well, what is a six bedroom going to rent for? Is it going to keep going up? Well, maybe $2,200. Well, what if this six bedroom has 10,000 square feet. Okay, maybe it's going to rent for $3,000, right? So the number of bedrooms and square footage, I get to a point where there's diminishing returns, where the extra bedrooms, the extra bathrooms, and the extra square footage is going to get me more money, but it's a lot less money than I would have gotten originally. So what I find is I look for a sweet spot. I'm typically looking for 4 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms in these lower price ranges because that's going to get me the highest cash flow. However, in the cities that have that, you may be in a city where you get the higher cash flow, but you may be in a city where you're struggling to get cash flow. However, in those cities, you're typically dealing with high appreciation. So for example, in some of these areas, there may be a $200,000 house that's 8%, but the annual appreciation is only 2%. So you're not going to see gains in values that much. Where in a higher price home, you may see not very good on the rental return, but you're going to see a higher amount of appreciation. So the idea here is we're trying to find properties that have a sweet spot. What is the least expensive property I can buy that I can get the ideal tenant that's going to stay there for a long time? So for me, that's a 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom house, okay? But is also going to be in an area that has decent appreciation, because there are areas where it's just simply cash flow and you're not going to see great appreciation. So you have to understand the area and their market that you're in. Is this a market where I can cash flow well, but I'm not going to get a lot of appreciation? Is it a market where I'm not going to get a lot of cash flow, but I'm going to get a lot of appreciation? Or is it somewhere in between of those in this type of an example of these 3 different cities or 3 different states or whatever you want to call it for this example? One of the things that can help you do this is understanding the analytics in your area. So let's just say you happen to be in Atlanta, Georgia. You can actually take this down to zip codes or specific cities if you want to get more specific. But one of the things that you're going to see here is what's been happening the last 30 days, or I like to look at the 90 days. Over time, the price per square foot has been increasing, okay? Not drastically, but it's been increasing. Average time on market. Well, how long is it going to take to sell a 5-bedroom, a 4-bedroom? All you do is put in your city here. Market trends, what's happening? Are listings going up or closings going up? So people may say, oh, real estate's slowing down. Well, why are closings go up and listings going up? Pre-foreclosures, are there more that are going into foreclosure? No, there's less that are going into foreclosure. What's our average rental amount? See, that's the interesting. The 5-bedroom is 39, 23, 21, 19. Listing price versus sales price is also very interesting. I'm gonna look 90 days on this. So I can understand what's happening to the market. Well, it looks like square footage is going down. However, average listing price is going up. Days on market has gone up. Okay, so that's something to take into consideration as we're looking for these properties and what's happening here. So this helps us understand the appreciation, what's happening on the appreciation. This shows us the rental change in the last 30 days. This is showing us the price change in the last 30 days and the average rent, so I can have an idea. This also is showing me the market demand, okay? So this is the days on market versus inventory, so you can see what's happening there and if the demand is getting better or getting worse to have a good idea of what's happening. Now, if you ever want to get more detailed information, you can actually go into a specific property, and it can help you understand what opportunity is there and how much rents will be for. Now, you're going to need to validate this. This just gives you a starting idea based upon some computer as to what the rent's going to be on this specific house, so that you can look at what the gross yield's going to be when it comes down to it. So using the Investor's Edge software is going to help you in making these determinations and making the right property purchase and making sure that you understand the ins and outs of how you're going to make money through this single family investment.